sound of a KFC mini fillet burger, small popcorn chicken and fries for just $2.99? Do you like the sound of a KFC mini fillet burger, small popcorn chicken and fries for just $2.99?
Hello, welcome to the channel and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to have a bit of fun and just take a quick look at this Fisher Price cassette recorder, see what it's all about. So I've already taken a bit of a look at this cassette recorder and it's making all sorts of horrible noises when you try and record. It does work to a degree, so I thought it'd be nice just to take a look inside, open it up, see if the mechanism's any good, see how it stacks up, and then just see if we can sort the record function out. And I just thought it'd be a bit of fun really, so we'll just take a look inside now, open it up and see what we've got. Okay then, so the first thing we're going to do, I think, is get it open, see what's inside. Not going to do a massive amount with this today, just going to kind of open it up, just have a look out of curiosity really, and try and clean up the running gear and whatever on earth that horrible brown muck is inside there. That's quite gross. So yeah, going to see if we can do that, and we'll open up the microphone, see if we can sort that as well. So first thing then, turn it over and see what we got. Right, so some Phillips screws, a little bit corroded, but should be all right. Yeah, that was a bit corroded, a bit stuck, and I did wonder if they are going to be different lengths, so we've just got to make sure we put them away safely so we know which ones have come from where. This is just a very quick have a look around, see what we've got. I actually tested it already and it works off the batteries, but there is no battery cover for this one. It also works off 6 volts DC as well, so that's okay. Oh, this is a nightmare. So far I've pulled out I don't know, 5 different sizes of screws, I think. Right, so we've got the shortest screws there, medium ones there, really long ones there, and different ones again there. Oh dear, what a nightmare. Right, okay. In fact, just what I'm just looking at the power lead here that I've got. Let's just give it a quick demo before I open it up. So if we eject it, and I'll find a blank tape. Let's try and record on it. Record. 1 2, testing 1 2. How do you read? 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. So you can see it wants to work. You can see it wants to work. I'm just rewinding it. No, I'm not. There we go. So it's kind of working all right-ish, but it's really loud on, really muffled and noisy on record. So I'm going to see if I can clean the microphone up. And I just wanted to have a look inside really, see what we've got. This could go horribly wrong, and I think it already has. Right. Alright, let's just see what happens then. Come on. Ah, okay. So there's rubber feet on the bottom. So you've got to peel the rubber feet away because they hold everything in place. Do you know what? This reminds me, in a funny little sort of way, reminds me like an old Panasonic 8-track dynamite player, the old RQ830S. The way that it's there we go, come on, trying not to lose these Where do they go? Oh, this is going to be a nightmare, isn't it? Putting these back together again. But anyways, so here we go. So volume pot on a board just there. Seems to be turning okay. We've got a tiny little speaker, 1 watt, 8 ohm speaker. So that's okay in there. Now then, what else do we know? Power board there. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is clean this record switch. Do you know what, that belt? Yeah, it's not too bad, to be fair. Got a little bit of a wobble in it these days, but and if I'm honest, I would prefer to put a new one on, but actually it's still got some bite to it. It's still working. That's still working all right, you know. The leaf contact switch there looks okay. Overall, I've got to say it's not bad. The LED works for the low battery. So yeah, all right. Well, I'm not gonna. Am I going to take this out? Do I need to? Is there any benefit? Yeah, come on. Oh my lord, what am I doing? What am I doing? I probably shouldn't. Oh my lord. I don't know. I don't know if I should be doing this. I've probably made a right mess. Right, what does that one do? That one sneaks around the side. Oh, this is going to go horribly wrong. But in any event, we've pretty much got all of the screws out, haven't we? So, shall we just give this a go and see what happens? So there's a screw here for the motor base plate. So I'll put that to one side there. Plus there's one screw that seems to hold the rest of the mech. I think the other screws holding the mech in were the ones that went through the rear case. So those two at least are the same, which is useful. Yeah, but I just wanted to have a look really, just to see what it's like. And so we've got a composite flywheel here, like a metal flywheel with a plastic pulley on the top, and the forward and rewind pulley here is plastic as well. Clutch seems to be okay. Plastic motor spindle, but that's okay. Obviously 6 volts. And yeah, it would be probably a little bit easier to unscrew this, unscrew the speaker maybe. Yeah. I'm just gonna unscrew this speaker. Wouldn't normally have bothered, except for these cables are very tight, and any second now I think I'm going to pull them loose or do some damage, so it's kind of restricting us a little bit. So I'm just going to get these little speaker brackets off. Come on. Well, that one's glued on anyway. Come on. Oh, these speakers glued in as well. Oh, alright. You know, when you go to do a quick little job, you think, oh, that'll just make things a bit easier. And then it becomes another job. Right, let's just try and just cut a little bit of this glue away. Alright. Well, that's the back case clear now. Needs a good scrub. I don't think I'm going to get a lot of that discoloration out. I mean, you could retro bright it or something, I suppose, but A, I haven't got the kit to do that, and B, I haven't quite really got the inclination, to be honest. Just needs a bit of a scrub and that'll be fine. Right, okay, so where did we get to? So here's the mech. Right, just looking for any random loose bits of plastic. Okay, what else have we got here? Like so. Oh, you. Yeah, so there's the eject bit gone. I always say, don't I, about letting sleeping dogs lie. but here we go. So we've got ourselves a nice little mech here now to see. And now I expect we won't be able to get it all back together because the door thing for the eject has just come out, and I don't know how that mechanism goes back together. So that'll be a laugh. Right, okay. Anyway, we can see that actually it's not a bad little thing really for kids. You've got all gears in there, so there's no idler tyres at least to worry about. Everything's got cogs. Yeah. Okay. Obviously a tiny little permanent erase head just there. Yeah. That's working all right. I could put some silicone spray or something on there, but it's not too bad to be fair. Yeah. A lot of work to go to just to clean the heads, but you know, like I say, we weren't really going to do much more with this today. This was just to have a little look at it, but now I am slightly worried. I am slightly worried that I'm not going to be able to get that ejector mechanism back. I don't know how all this goes, this contraption. Problem with these, it's the same with the Fisher Price ones as well actually. I've got, you know, the old brown Fisher Price original tape player, and lovely thing, but yeah, once these bits of plastic all start falling out, you've got no chance. But anyways, right, okay, just having a quick dust really while I'm in here. Obviously there's no counterbelts to worry about or anything like that. Generally speaking, looks fairly clean and tidy, so that's kind of all there is to see really. Little 6-volt motor, and now all I've got to try and do is get this thing back in somehow, and then once I've done that, hopefully we can get it all back together, and yeah, and that'll be that. Then I can just have a look at trying to clean up this microphone. Actually, do you know what, doing this well out of sync now, but the thing is, I see this thing being a real pain to put back together, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean this now. Then I can worry about reassembling the whole thing a bit later. Right, well there's the two. Let's see what happens now. Okay. Alrighty, so we can see inside the microphone itself. I've got to say it looks pretty clean. I put some contact cleaner down there already, but it's super clean in there, so I don't think that is where the issue lies. And the actual condenser mic, you may see just inside there's a little condenser mic, very similar to what you'd get inside like a little radio cassette player or something like that. And yeah, it all looks intact actually. It doesn't look like there's any fractures or strains on the cable. So there we go, that's what's inside of that one. And I'm going to go away in a minute for about an hour to try and figure out how this all goes back together again. As I say, it was only that one piece of plastic that popped out. But yeah, could be a bit of a deal breaker if I can't get that back in the right orientation. So I'm going to go and have a look at how this very complicated little piece of plastic works, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, I've just had a bit of a word with myself and figured out how this really bizarre little piece of plastic fits in. It's a bit like Operation. Anybody remember that game where you have to pull the little plastic pieces out without setting it off? Anyway, so I did also just quickly desolder the speaker whilst I got everything out to have a proper look at how it all works. And so a couple of quick jobs we just got to do then, and we'll get it back together. So I think first up, I'm going to look at this record switch. Just going to try and give that a bit of a clean. Because I can't help but wonder whether that's what's causing the crackling. And just a tiny little bit of lubrication in there as well. That should do it. Mop up any excess. Marvellous. Right, so then we just wanted to clean this gunk out. There's all sorts of nasties in there, so I'm just going to get a little bit of alcohol on cotton bud, and it's especially just ugh, these children putting sticky things in. Ugh. So let's just try and give this a bit of a clean. Oh, blimey, there goes me volume control. Ah well, I'm sure that'll all get sorted in a minute. Just trying actually to open the door, that's it. Just going to try and get in there and give this a clean. That's better. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and keep giving this a bit of a clean up, and then we'll get it back together. So I'm just going to put a baby wipe down there, ironically, as this is really a child's toy, but I just find they're really good for getting all the grime and gunk off things. So I'm just trying to clean this up as best I can. That's definitely looking a lot better. Much nicer, much more hygienic. Obviously we'll do the outer casing a bit later. Rightio, so what do we know? Just going to clean a little bit there as well. Anywhere that's sort of visible from the outside. Okay, so we don't need to clean the volume part. That was working fine. That's all right. The main amp board is okay. I'm not going to try and get all that out. All the wires are sort of semi-glued into place, and the LED light and everything else is all there, and that's fine. Don't need to touch any of that. So basically, that's pretty much all there is to this old Fisher Price. It's not bad. I've seen 1980s boomboxes with no better mechanisms than this, to be honest. So anyway, there we go. So the belt, yeah, that's still biting okay. That's fine. If you wanted to change it, it's extremely hard to, obviously, as you can see. Not. And you could go ahead and oil the motor spindle and, you know, wipe inside all of these pulleys and everything else. But quite frankly, that's all there is to it. Perfect. So to that end, I think we'll get let's get this dastardly piece of plastic in. So what we do is we drop that in. Also, it's quite useful for anybody that is working on these old Fisher Price ones. With the best will in the world, some of these plastic pieces like this can be proper weird and fiddly if you don't know how they go together. But anyway, there we go. So that drops kind of into there and slides inside the mech like so. We're just making sure we haven't lost any other. Yes, I have lost another piece just there. So just when I thought I had it figured out, we've lost another piece. Right, I think that piece goes like so, and let's see, and then just tucks inside of there. Right, okay. So we've got the 3 bits of plastic all back in, we've cleaned the record switch, everything else seemed, I think, all right. So I'm just going to solder this speaker back on and then give these grotty little controls making me itch just touching them. But there we go. So yeah, solder the speaker back on real quick, clean up all these controls, reassemble it and give it a little test. Okay, so now we've got to try and get these transport buttons back. This is going to be fun. It's like a kiddie's game on its own, this one, isn't it? Right. So that obviously depresses that bar there. This thing goes in there. It goes down and across to there. So it seems like the two direction transport buttons don't engage with anything else, which isn't very handy, but there we go. Worry about that in a minute. Right, so I think all we need to do now is try and solder the speaker terminals back on, and then we should be in business. So I'm just going to raise that up a little bit. There we go. Right, we'll solder these back on, and we should be able to fit that back into the case and then get the case back in, hopefully, if we can trap these transport buttons properly, and give everything a nice good clean and give it a demo. Okay, so get this back in. At least now we're guided by the original screws. There we go. There we go. Not going to glue that back in. That glue was only just cut with like a scalpel, so it's still, that's nice and tight. That's not vibrating, and I don't think that's going to make enough power to make anything shake. Right, okay, quick idiot check then, apart from the obvious one talking. But yeah, so the belt's okay. We can work with that. We've cleaned the record play switch. The volume pot we know was okay, and I can't remember whether or not that needed to be. Let's have a look. Yeah, so that does need to go on before the casing goes back together, because it is encased in that little groove there. So I'm just going to figure out which bit's which. Now, the maximum volume or minimum volume, which way did it go? So it rotates forward, so that's going to be max volume, and rotates to minimum. So it's got to be, I'm just looking at the numbers, no, rotates to, yep, that is now forward, so that should line up more or less with 1. Right, no, I've missed it by half a turn, I think. Yeah, I've got to get it right, because it's got like a groove. See, shouldn't have soldered this blooming thing back on yet, should I? Right, hang on. Oh. Right, one job at a time. One job at a time, come on. Right, okay. So that's obviously half a turn out. Come on. Oh god, it's such a fiddly little job. Basically, you've got a tiny little groove in this. Whoops, there it is. But you've got to line that up with the correct angle, so that it's showing the right number on the front. And of course, this bloody speaker's got in the way again. Right, come on, mate. Where are we? Let's have a look. It's about there. It's got to be about there. But that's not upright. Right, come on. This is where I pull. This is where I pull another thing off the board here now, you watch. Right, okay, let's try this again. So that rotates that way. Right, never mind the transport buttons for a minute. Let's do one job at a time. So right, okay, flat out. Down to 1-ish. It's got to be right. Oh, me eject mechanism things all pop back out again as well now. Oh, honestly. Right. Well, we think... Come on. Right, we think that's set in place properly. Then this one... Ugh, yuck. Needs to go... Let's think again. Down... there. That other piece needs to go get trapped in the middle of there. Then this one has to come up and drop into there. Right, okay. Blimey. Honestly. Oh, now we've got to put these transport buttons back again. So I remember this one went... Oh, so fiddly, man. Sure, that one. Right, got one in. Then it's the two buttons that face away from each other, so they have to go that way. 1 and 2. But need something propping them. Maybe that don't know, maybe. But then we've got this one to go anyway. There, like so. Right. So I think now we roll this back over. Rotate all of these transport buttons. Nope. Oh, right, okay. Back open again. Honestly, see, there's not enough speaker cable. That is literally pulling on that. But the trouble is, you can't... How can I explain this? To get a bit more foam to put it on. Right, basically, you can't fit these first before the speaker because they just rattle around and you put them in at the last minute as you put the top case on. But then you can't put the speaker on first because it's in the way while you try and sort everything else out. God, it really is. Fair play, I've got to say, it's quite an impressive thing how they actually managed to make these things in the first place. And the other thing, of course... no, hang on a minute. I'm being a fool. Being a buffoon here. I was about to say, what we need to do is hold the case in to some degree, just to stop the actual mechanism parts falling out whilst we stand it up to let gravity help us with the buttons. Right, okay, so those are the two that mechanically fix that in. Now we should be able, blimey, here we go. I'm going to stand this up. Honestly, right, okay, then it was back under there. Wow. Ever had one of those jobs you wish you'd never started, boys and girls? Do a Fisher Price one, he said. Thought it'd be fun, he said. Oh. Oh. Really? Oh, God. Honestly. Right, come on, come on. What the hell's going on here? See, these, for whatever reason, don't clip in. Sure, they pivot in there to a degree, and they work when they're being pressed down. And they're all lined up perfectly. Right up until I go to put the back cover on. Why is that not? Oh, for give me an RCM 90. Oh dear, or an 8190 or whatever. Or a big old GF. And I'll talk to you all day about it. But this bloody thing. Right. Dear me. And I bet you when I finally get it back together, the volume won't line up properly. But something's stopping that. Right, come on. What's... Right, come on. Yay! Right. That noise, incidentally, was me testing it before. Tell you what, let's just see what happens. Record. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Test. How do you read 1 2? Vocal check. Vocal check 1 2. Right. Let's just. One two 1 2 1 2. Test. How do you read 1 2? Vocal check. Vocal check 1 2. There we go. All right. Well, fair enough. Looks like it's working. So the fast forward and rewind do need to be held down, but I can't remember whether they needed to be or not. I suppose with kids anyway, with their, you know, just putting their big old handprints on it, I'm thinking perhaps that should be right, because inadvertently it'd be easy for them to just press one or the other and just wear the batteries out whilst it's going back and forth for 40 minutes or something. So it's playing. Vocal check 1 2. There we go, it's playing nicely. It's recording better now. That's sorted that out. So I can't remember if it snapped in for forward and rewind or not. Maybe it was never. No, it can't have been, because everything else is working and it's record locks down, play locks down. So yeah, that's got to be right. Okay, so without disturbing anything else, I'm going to screw this godforsaken thing back together, give it a clean, and then put on my cheery cheery voice. Oh no, in all of the carnage I think I've mixed my screws up as well. Oh dear oh me. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's get some screws in and see how we get on from there. The easy ones are here, because these ones are the shortest. Then I remember medium then it was the longest, and then it was the 4th size, which is slightly shorter than these ones and slightly longer than those ones. Oh dear, right. And I'm just sticking that little bit of foot pad back down to hold the 2 halves together. Well, it doesn't actually hold them together, the screws obviously do that, but you need to separate them to get the case apart, put it that way. Right, I'm going to give this a nice bit of a clean, and then we'll do a quick reveal. So here it is then, the Fisher Price cassette player and recorder. Dear oh me, eh? Whoever thought it would be such hard work? It's a kid's toy at the end of the day. But yeah, quite interesting to just have a look inside. I don't think these things were ever really supposed to last that long, but I mean, it's pretty discoloured and beaten up. But then again, if I'd been pummeled and dragged around the house for 10 or 20 years and then thrown in the back of a cupboard for another 20, I think I'd look pretty rough as well. So I can't blame it, I guess. Actually though, it all seems to have stood the test of time pretty well. It still works. I thought it'd just be nice to have had a look inside, see what it was all about. You know, we take these things for granted when we're kids, don't we? We bash these things about and what have you. So it'd be quite good fun, I thought, just to have a look inside. So there we go, that's what it's all about. So I ought to put a tape in, actually. If I can just go and find one, we'll give it a quick demo, see how it sounds. Now the mechanism was quite sketchy on this. When I took it all apart, there was bits of white plastic everywhere. So I think we've managed to sort that out. So let's just press, there you go, lovely. And I've cleaned up inside now. It had like sticky residue and it was all mouldy and horrible. So let's just see now if it works. Let's just check. Tape in there and closed and volume to minimum for a minute and play. No, it doesn't want to play. We've missed a trick. Hang on. Let's go and take 2. I'll strip it apart. I think something's happened again with this control button. I don't know why. But I'll go and figure that out now. And we'll be back shortly. Okay, now that is weird. So I just went to have a quick look at it. And I've discovered the following. So if I press... Well, no, Leah. Let's put a normal tape in. And play. There we go. Stop, rewind, fast forward, record, and that's okay. And I take a pre-recorded one and put that in. And that seems to be working. And put the original one back in, but turn it around this time. Play. And again, it's turning, it's fine. But if I put a chrome tape in with the extra cutouts in the top, it won't play. That's really weird. Okay. So it does look like it's got protection in there to play type 1s only. There's a couple of little usual sort of tangs in the bottom there. So I'm wondering actually whether this particular one was done to protect Mummy and Daddy's proper tapes, because it honestly just won't play this chrome one. Let's have a look. To be honest, it doesn't even want to close. Now I've got another chrome tape here, so if I put that one in, yeah, see, it doesn't play chrome tapes. That's weird. But if I put a type 1 in, then that's playing fine. I'm going to find another type 1 just to check again. So that is a little bit weird. That is a little bit weird, I've got to say. Alright, well, in which case then, let's put the original one back in. And Actually, we'll record on this as well. Let's do a little recording demo. So if I go onto here now and press record, and we'll wait for the leader tape to pass, and hang on. 1, 2, vocal check. Hello my fellow YouTube watchers, hope you're enjoying this video. It's a slightly bizarre one, and it was supposed to be quick and easy just for a bit of fun, and I've noticed that actually it's pretty bit of an oddball machine, this one. It's got its little quirks, and I think it really is just destined to be sort of, you know, thrown around by kids with their basic story time tapes and things like that in. Anyway, I've got the recording going now, so hopefully, having cleaned the record bar, it should sound okay. So let's just try it out now, and we'll rewind that, and I'll press play. And I've noticed that actually it really is just destined to be sort of, you know, thrown around by kids with their basic story time tapes and things like that in. Anyway, I've got the recording going now, so hopefully, having cleaned the record bar, it should sound okay. So let's just try it out now. There we go. Well, that's sorted that out. So I think what we'll do now, just for a bit of fun, is rewind that, and I'm going to record something off the radio. I think that'd be a laugh, won't it? A little RC250 from JVC. And what I'll do is I'll turn the lights off because it does interfere with the FM, and I'll get a radio station on there. We'll record it onto this one, and hopefully we'll see how it sounds. So first thing, so I know we're in the dark now, so do bear with me. Let me see. So volume, and we'll tune that in. From the person who's conducting the interviews, and you make my heart beat like playing rap. Now you won't even say fax machines. They're kind of like your business current account. Okay, so we've got radio on there. Do we? Do we? Oh yeah. We hardly right. Agree on anything. I wouldn't go. Okie dokie. So I'm going to record there because there's no music, so there's no copyright strikes. Let's go for it. I love the industry placement, so you can get your career started. I like that it's equivalent to 3 A-levels. So we're now recording. It's still an option. Either way, I like the thought of you leaving home. Dad, well, you're done, obviously. T-levels, the career-focused qualification you can both agree on. Finally, visit tlevelinfo.org.uk.
Do you like the sound of a KFC mini fillet burger, small popcorn chicken and fries for just $2.99? Of course you do. So, let's make this official. Let's show. Okay, we'll stop that, put the lights back on while we contemplate that KFC dinner. Right, let's see if that recorded off the radio, shall we? So here we go. Sort of, you know, thrown around by kids with their... that was the last bit we did, wasn't it? So, press play and see what we've got. So we're now recording. It's still an option. By the way, I like the thought of you leaving home. Dad, well, you're done, obviously.
T-levels, the career-focused qualification you can both agree on. Finally, visit tlevelinfo.org.uk.
Do you like the sound of a KFC mini fillet burger, small popcorn chicken and fries for just $2.99? Of course you do. So, let's make...
Well, there we go then. So it does record off the radio. So as long as you use Type 1 tapes, we know that we can play our tunes on it and record off the radio. And we've sorted the microphone out. So it's a proper little thing now for kids. So that's a bit of a laugh, bit of fun. And I just thought I'd share that with you. A bit obscure, I know. But anyway, listen, if you're into your serious boomboxes and 8-tracks, vintage electronic games, Walkmans, all that kind of stuff, do check out some of my other videos, and please do consider subscribing if you don't already. It'd be great to have you on board, and in any event, take care, and I shall see you soon. All the best for now. Bye bye.